What is up, guys? It's Meg. Welcome back to Meg After Dark. Today we are talking about the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead, the season 3 mid-season finale. But first, Game of Thrones is on tomorrow, you guys. It's finally that time. For those of you who don't know and have only been following me for Fear the Walking Dead, I am also completely obsessed with Game of Thrones. So much so that it's kind of hard for me to focus on talking about Fear the Walking Dead right now because all I can think about is Game of Thrones. I'm so excited. So stay tuned to this channel if you like Game of Thrones. I will be doing reaction videos to that, possibly discussion videos as well. I am super pumped. As soon as I finish these couple videos here that I'm about to put out for you, I'm actually gonna go sit and try and like marathon a bunch of the last few episodes of Game of Thrones so that I can remind myself everything that had happened, because as you know, in Game of Thrones so much happens in every single episode. So I'm pumped, but let's get back to the review at hand. Fear the Walking Dead season 3 mid-season finale. What did you think of that episode? It blew me away, you guys. It's one of, well, it is the best episode of Fear the Walking Dead that I've ever seen, to be honest with you. The best finale, mid-season finale, anything they could have done. And let me tell you why. For one, we had a huge character reveal in Madison at the end of the episode. We've been building up to this in the last 2.5 seasons, I guess, where we know that there is something more to Madison, that there is this dark side, and we just don't know what it is. And I think a lot of us assume that she had killed someone before. The very first time she killed anyone, I think, was the Walker principal, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the infected principal, who had been her friend, was the first Walker that she infected. I keep getting those confused, you guys. Infected is in Fear. Walker is in Walking Dead. Help me out here, okay, if I mess up. So the infected principal, I think. But you know, she did it so like she was shocked, and yet she didn't really seem to have a problem with, you know, killing him. And she hasn't ever really seemed to show that much emotion in killing people. So it is assumed, or it was assumed, that she had killed someone in the past at least, and she never has shown a lot of feelings before or emotions, and she seems very cold. And we've kind of always, I think a lot of us, before we really knew for sure that there was something darker to her past, we were kind of having a hard time relating to Madison, Kim Dickens' character. And I think a lot of people actually attributed it to Kim Dickens' acting as opposed to the storyline. So now it's out in the open, now it's in the clear. Kim Dickens is a really great actress, and this episode was incredible. And I really credit that to the character of Madison, and credit that to the character of Walker, who is played by Michael Greyeyes. Like, he's a really cool dude. If you guys missed out on Talking Dead, you should definitely try and watch that episode, because he was a guest on the episode, and he's a really cool guy, and he has some really like interesting perspectives on Walker's character. But let's get back to the last 5 minutes of the episode before I go off on some other tangent. That song, Stand By Me, that version of it, it's a dark, creepy version of this song, this very well-known song that I think most, unless you're really young, most all of us know this song and kind of know the words by heart, even unintentionally. So when we see, oh my God, okay, there's only been a few episodes of TV ever, I think, that you get such chills when you're watching an episode and you really feel like super emotional, and I'm almost getting teary talking about it, because it's really a sign of a good television show when you get emotional about it, but when you really like feel like in awe of everything that's happening. So for example, when I watched Game of Thrones Battle of the Bastards, that was probably the most incredible episode of TV I think I've ever seen. The music, all of the actors, the scene, the way everything was filmed, it gives you like this, you're like happy and excited and terrified, and there's so much emotion all at once that you're kind of like vibrating with like extreme excitement and like pleasure in watching this episode. And for example, another one was in Walking Dead, when Herschel died. For me, that was a big one. Also, finally the culmination of the eeny, meeny, miny, mo scene. But in Fear, we haven't really had a lot of those episodes for me. Really any episodes that really make you feel so much emotion and awe of what's happening. And for whatever reason, this song, Stand By Me, this version of it, just really sealed the deal for me. And Kim Dickens acting for Madison, when you see her, she's so strong in that moment, and she quickly covers up Jeremiah's death. She sends Nick off, and then you see them, the three of them, Alicia, Nick, and Madison, standing up on that balcony watching as the sons take away Jeremiah's body, and the song come on, like Stand By Me. Oh my God, you guys. I don't even really have words for it. And then you see her standing in the barn, and she knows what she has to do. She knows that she has to cut off his head. And you really get the sense of power behind Madison, and that she is cold but determined as all hell to make sure that she protects her kids and provides a spot for them, and she will do anything to ensure that. And she knows, like, she has developed this respect, mutual respect between her and Walker. They both have it for each other, that they're both willing to do absolutely whatever it takes to not only survive, but to ensure that their people are taken care of. And she's walking with this backpack, and it's like dawn, and she's walking with this backpack, and the song's playing, and we see her meet up with Walker. And I really don't have words for it, and I'm really curious to know if you guys felt the same way in these last 5 minutes. And then when she turned around and was walking away, and there was that moment of relief, that brief moment of relief that you see on her face, and the song's playing, and the whole time I was just sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, I've said my piece on that. This video is already 7 minutes of me talking about the last 5 minutes of the show. I wanted to also talk about Ophelia. We get the big reveal of Ophelia. We finally get to see her in the first half of the episode. We find out that she was left for dead by Jeremiah, and that he's racist, which we kind of, I mean, come on. We kind of had a feeling this dude has got a lot of issues. It didn't really surprise me that he was also a racist asshole, but you know, it is what it is. And he leaves her for dead out in the desert, and she's found by Walker. And she is given a place to live, and she's nursed back to health, and she trusts these people. And it's kind of funny to see Ophelia on the opposite side of our group. It's an interesting perspective. And we had started out, you know, when we first run into Walker and his people, they seem like they're the bad guys. They scalped the dude, and not only, and took out a part of his school and let the crows eat him. Like, he seems like a scary dude, you know? But then as the episodes progress, and these last 2 episodes progress, you realize there's a whole lot more to Walker's story and Walker's people, and what they believe. And we come to find out at the very end of the mid-season finale that Jeremiah is not so innocent here, that he killed multiple people of Walker's family. So we know, I'm trying to remember, I'm probably gonna say this wrong because I'm probably not remembering it right, but we know that he killed Walker's uncle, right? And then 2 others. And then we know that when Walker's father came to find out what happened, he also killed Walker's father, buried him under the floor in his house. I'm pretty sure that's right. I watched it twice already, but for some reason I feel like I'm saying it wrong. We come to find out that he has killed some of Walker's family, and so you can understand where some of Walker's problems with the ranch come from. But also, not to say that Walker is completely innocent here, because he has some extreme views of how his people are going to be the last ones standing in this apocalypse, how the first people, which are his people, will be able to take back the land. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he's got some extreme views there. So he's not totally innocent, obviously, and he has killed people as well. They've been warring against the Autos for a while, it seems like. But at the end, you kind of realize that Jeremiah is really the ultimate, you know, one who needs to die here. He's unwilling to compromise, unwilling to move forward at all, whereas Madison is trying desperately to like make this work. So, you know, ultimately he's got to die. I loved that moment where Madison came in and was like, I'm not gonna kill you, you're gonna do it. And she was like gonna try and make him kill himself. And then we have Nick coming in and doing it for her. And I think he realized in that moment when she was telling her kids the story of her killing her father, I think Nick, after a moment, probably realized the reasoning behind it, why she was telling them, because she's basically gonna go potentially do it again. She talks about not wanting to disappoint her kids, and then Nick comes in and does it. And I had said at the end of my reaction video, which was wrong, really what I was trying to mean, what I meant when I said this is the first person that Nick has really has killed. I know that he has, that was wrong in saying that. I should have explained more of what I meant. Like, when I saw that, Nick made a very clear choice in that moment to kill Jeremiah. He wasn't fighting for his life like he was when he was wrestling with his drug dealer friend. They were wrestling and it was an accidental gunshot, spontaneous kind of wrestling thing. He wasn't like fully making this decision like, I'm going to kill this guy right now. To me, that seemed more of an accident. When he accidentally overdosed Gloria, that also was an accident. This killing of Jeremiah was a total decision for him. Like, he made that decision in that moment. And so for me, that's gonna affect him more, at least I would like to see that affect him more than the other two people that he unintentionally killed. So that's more of what I meant from that, just for clarification. I want to talk about Ophelia. Man, she poisoned people and she didn't know that they were going to die, but man, she was like, that took me by surprise. Like, she snuck in there, she let herself get beat up so that she could be like the Trojan horse inside Jeremiah's ranch. Like, that surprised me. I found myself really, as much as that annoyed me in that moment, and I was really worried about Nick actually dying here, even though like in the back of my head I kind of knew they wouldn't kill him off. You still, like, they try and freak you out there for a minute by having him throw up, and so far everyone who has gotten sick from it in that quick, you know, everything's happening so fast, so far everyone had died. So you're immediately thinking, as soon as he starts to like foam and like throw up, you're immediately thinking, oh my god, everyone else has died, he's gonna die. Like, you can't help but think that. So it was with great relief that we find out he doesn't actually die. But after kind of getting over that, you have to realize like how badass Ophelia really is now. Like, man, I liked it. And am I the only one who thinks that her and Walker are kind of a thing as well? I feel like they've got a little sort of romance going on as well. Want to talk about Strand for a brief moment. He finds the Abigail. Like, who was not expecting? I was not expecting him to find Abigail. We finally get closure on what happened to the boat. Wow. I never thought I would see that again. When I first watched the episode, I was a little bit confused as to why he was burning the boat. I watched The Talking Dead and it was clarified a little bit more, which it made a lot of sense. At this point, Strand has been trying to go back to things that he knows. So he had the boat. Then he goes to his lover's place to try and survive there. That doesn't work out. Then he goes to Dante's. That doesn't work out. You know what I mean? Like, he's consistently trying to find places in his past for safety, for shelter, for memories, whatever. And when he finds the Abigail again, he's on the Abigail, he's got himself drunk, he even puts on his coat, like reminiscing almost of old times. And we hear from a Russian cosmonaut who is stuck up in space. Like, whoa. somehow the dude has radioed down broadcasting a message, and Strand hears it, and they end up talking for a brief moment. And can you imagine being in space and being like, I'm about to re-enter in a couple days, and then the world just goes dark and you have no idea what happened? Like, that's crazy to think of. I absolutely love that they put that in there. Seemed slightly unrealistic to me, but nonetheless, it was a great moment. It was a great moment for Strand, who at this point has kind of been holding onto hope that there is something more left in the world, and it's maybe the rest of the world is still okay, not just North America, but the cosmonaut tells him that the entire world is dark. So I think that's the moment that Strand realizes that he's got to stop feeling sorry for himself. That now is the time that he has to push forward and figure out his place in this world and how he is going to move on from here, and he has to stop hanging on to the past and his old life. And so the reasoning behind burning the boat is kind of like burning his old life away. There was no necessary reason to burn the boat. It wasn't, you know, he wasn't trying, there wasn't like a specific reason for the need to burn the boat. To me, it was more symbolic of him really burning his past away, burning his old life away, and starting new. He collected what he needed, and he left. And that scene with him where he puts on the sunglasses, which are like so unnecessary at this point, I feel like, because you're in the dark. Anyways, but he puts on the sunglasses, and that image of him with the flames in his glasses and kind of the glow on his skin was another one of those really amazing scenes where I was like, wow, that's really well done, a well shot scene. Perfect, loved it. Watching his old life burn away, ready to start new. I'm really excited for where he's going from here, because you know, like I said, especially with the dam scenes with the water and stuff, I just really didn't like the choices that he was making, and he kept trying to use people. Like, he was still using Daniel up until Daniel left him at the hotel, and he was lying in order to get what he wanted, and that's kind of his MO. And so I'm really hoping that in this moment where he burns the boat and he's burning his past, that he starts new and starts a new way of doing things. So I'm interested to see that. I was very disappointed that there was no Daniel in this episode. Yes, I know that there was an image of him. He was technically in the episode, but it was a vision for Ophelia. So his actual character, Daniel the character, was not in this episode, which frustrated the hell out of me because we saw everyone else. So it made me kind of sad, but I guess if everything was wrapping up at the mid-season finale here, and so Daniel didn't really fit into that moment, but I have a feeling we will see him a lot in the second half of season 3 here. We still have to have him somehow meet up with Ophelia and Walker's group. Now, I really loved this episode. Let me know what you guys thought about the mid-season finale episode 7 and 8 here. I would love to hear your opinions on it. Did you watch the preview? So Fear the Walking Dead season 3, the second half, starts September 10th, I believe, which is just like, what, 2 months away. And we got a preview already for it, and the preview looked like, you know, we have Madison, Jeremiah's sons there, Troy and Jake. We have Madison's kids, we have the other residents of the ranch that are still there, and we have Walker and Walker's group. And there's a big caravan of cars and trucks and looks like trailers and things that are potentially moving on to the ranch property. I'm very curious to find out what is happening here, because it kind of seems like they're moving in, and it doesn't look like some of the ranch residents are very happy about it. I am wondering if Madison has put herself in as a leader of the group now. You know, I think that she really took charge in those moments, and I really think that Jake and Troy are gonna look up to her more. I mean, that is until they found out she's actually more responsible for their father's death, that it wasn't a suicide, until they find out that Nick potentially or not potentially, but that Nick killed him. I could definitely see that being as a storyline in the future, but I'm interested to see how it all plays out. I feel like we still have to get Strand somehow there, and we have to get Daniel there to meet Ophelia. I have a feeling that they're building the story that water is a big issue for Walker's people, that they're really running low on water. Now I'm wondering if Strand somehow, I'm wondering if they go out on like scouting trips for water. This is kind of my guess, is that Madison maybe leads groups out on scouting trips for water to help Walker's people. In the meantime, maybe Walker's people move onto the property. She wants to, you know, the more people they have, the better they can fight against potential enemies. She's said that before. So maybe that's why she's bringing the people on, as well as the fact that they need water. But I'm wondering if they run into Strand and Strand tells them like, hey, there's the dam there, you can get water here, something like that. And then we have Daniel, and I have no idea how that's gonna work out. Maybe Daniel will somehow retrace some of Ophelia's footprints. I have no idea. Or maybe he'll go back to the dam, and that's where they'll all meet up. I'm curious. Let me know what your predictions are for the September 10th premiere of Fear the Walking Dead Season 3B. Woo! Tomorrow is Game of Thrones. What are your predictions for Game of Thrones? Like, oh my god, I can't even believe it's back. But we only have 7 episodes this season, and then we have a final season 8, and then it's done forever. And I heard that they're gonna have some spin-offs, but I don't think it's gonna be the same. I mean, if there was a spin-off with Jon Snow, that would be pretty awesome, but I can almost guarantee that's not gonna happen. But also, tell me, what characters would you like to see a spin-off for in Game of Thrones? That would be interesting. Alright, this video is long already, so I'm gonna say goodbye here. I love you very much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic evening.